the words for the past continuous action. So it's going to be was or were plus the verb but in the present participle. So number 1, Holly and her aunt. So is it was or were? Holly and her aunt. It's 2 people, so it's were. So they were doing something at the photo album. So let's have a think. You don't ride at, or visit at, or make at, or read at. The only one is look. You can look at a photo album. So look and the ing, looking. Holly and her aunt were looking at the photo album. Number 2, Holly's parents, so both of them, 2 people, were a friend in hospital. And what might you do to a friend in hospital? You might visit them. So Holly's parents were visit and then ing, visiting. Holly's parents were visiting a friend in hospital. Number 3, Amy. So just one person. It was a photo album on the computer. So we've got ride, make, or read. And you don't read a photo album, there's not usually any words. So, and you definitely don't ride a photo album. So it must be make. Amy was make. And because it ends in E, remember we take away the E and we just add the ing. Amy was making a photo album on the computer. Number 4, Leo. So was or were is one person. Leo was. His skateboard outside. So what might you do with a skateboard? You might ride it. Leo was riding, and again it ends in E, so we take away the E before we add the ing. Leo was riding his skateboard outside. So the last one, Max, it's one person, so it was. And we can see a new book. So what might you do with a book? You would read it. Max was reading a new book. Okay, so one more time. Number 1, Holly and her aunt were looking at the photo album. Holly's parents were visiting a friend in hospital. Amy was making a photo album on the computer. Leo was riding his skateboard outside. And Max was reading a new book. So there's the past continuous. So now maybe you can look at the sentences and I'll ask the question, see if you can think of the answer. Were Holly's parents going to the cinema? Were Holly's parents going to the cinema? No, they weren't. They were visiting a friend in hospital. Were Holly and her aunt going shopping? No, they weren't. They were looking at the photo album. Was Amy playing games on the computer? No, she wasn't. She was making a photo album on the computer. Was Leo playing football outside? No, he wasn't. He was riding his skateboard. Was Max watching TV? No, he wasn't. He was reading a new book. Okay, so there's how to ask and answer questions using the past continuous. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, now let's move on and look at dates. So we say and write dates differently. For example, "22nd June 1997. That's how we write it, or one way to write it. But when we say it, we would say let's do it in writing, the 22nd of June 1997. Okay, so when we see it written down, we've just got the numbers and the month and the year. But when we say it, we say the 22nd of June instead of 22nd June. The 22nd of June. Another one. 4th October 2009. So we've got the number, the date, the month and the year. So that becomes the 4th of October. Okay, so when it's a month, we use the preposition of. The 22nd of June, the 4th of October. And we always use the for the date. If we're talking about the year, maybe we want to say the year we were born. Slightly different. I was born in. I was born, we use in. So my dad was born in 1971. Okay, my dad was born in 1971. So, for months, we use of. For years, we use in. So, of, in. Be careful, make sure you use the correct preposition. So now let's have a look at the slides. We've got some babies, and we can see their name and when they were born. So I'm going to ask you, when were they born? See if you can think of the answer, and then we'll write it on the board together. So Paul, 3rd of March